Yeah, it was, yeah. Everything.
Mudder, Chuck, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, you're coming in fine.
Good deal.
I hear you too. Just got here.
Awesome.
There's a study.
Yeah.
I was just. I was wondering that work.
Amelia, are you still sharing your screen? I seem to have lost it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, she is.
Hi.
All right, hang on a second.
We can stop if you want.
Yeah, if you could try and stop it and then just re-share and see what happens there.
Okay, you want me to reshare?
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's this one. Okay, it's
It
sharing.
looks promising. Ah, perfect. All right.
I'm Steve, by the way.
Hi, Steve. Nice to meet you. I'm Tom,
Hey,
or
Tom.
Bernard Seifert, as mentioned down there in
I was
my.
wondering about that.
Yeah, the Bernard Seifert. Yeah, even though it's two last names, so we're good. Where are you guys at in Houston?
Where?
Yeah,
Southwest corner, 610, Meyerland area.
my family used to live in Katy, or my in-laws used to live in Katy out there, so made a lot of trips.
Yeah.
Down that way. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started, everybody. Thank you for coming to today's meeting. Let's see, we got about 15, 20 in person, and looks like 5 online right now. Today we have a guest speaker, Amelia Goldberg. She's with the Astronomical League. She's been an amateur astronomer for about 40 years. A little more than 40 years. She's a member of the Houston Astronomical Society and Fort Bend Astronomical Society, and she holds a whole bunch of Astronomical League certificates, Master Observer, and Master Outreach Awards. And so today she's going to talk to us about the program that I don't know how new it is, but she's kind of an expert on this Universe Sampler program. As she's talking about it, I actually have one of the books that it's probably that book that she'll kind of be going through, and after the talk, you're more than welcome to come up and take a look at it. All right, Amelia, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, have at it. Floor's yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. And I'm really glad that you're interested in the Universe Sampler Observing Program. This program was created in the mid-1990s. At that time, there were no observing programs aimed at the beginner like there are today. Most people started observing with the Messier program, and then they jumped right up into the Herschel 400, which is quite a big jump. So there really was a need for something to bridge that gap. The Universe Sampler is that program. The booklet contains lessons that cover some of the things that the beginner needs to learn. And tonight we'll talk about a few of those things. and we'll talk a little about some of the objects you'll be looking at. Okay. The Universe Sampler is an Astronomical League sponsored program. It is specifically designed as a teaching aid for the beginner. It teaches some of the basics that the beginner needs to learn in order to be able to find their way around the night sky. I like to think of it as a journey through the universe, sort of a guided tour of the night sky. You'll visit a variety of objects. Some are bright and beautiful, and some not so bright and not so beautiful. However, all are interesting in their own way. You'll begin this journey using only your eyes. Halfway through your trip, you have a choice. Continue on with just using your eyes or use a telescope. The program offers 2 different deep sky lists, one for naked eye only or one for telescope. You will learn about basic sky movement. You'll learn how to find north in the sky. You'll learn about angular measures of distance, like altitude and azimuth. You'll learn about right ascension and declination, which we refer to as RA and DEC. You'll learn how to star hop, a little bit about eyepiece field orientation, and even how to log your observations. As with all the Astronomical League program, there are rules that you have to follow. For the Universe Sampler, you must be a member of the Astronomical League. Use of setting circles, computer-driven telescopes, or any other electronic device, such as a Pi Finder or a Nexus Pro, used to locate objects is not allowed. That would defeat the purpose of the program. You must use the star hop method. You must complete list 1 and either list 2 or list 3. If you do both lists, you'll get 2 certificates. However, they only count as one program toward any other award, such as the Master Observer Award. You'll learn to keep logs of your observations. So let's start with star hopping, since that's what you're going to have to use. And it means exactly what it says. You hop from a bright naked eye star to your target object. You start with a naked eye star located in the sky and on your star chart. And then you follow little patterns of stars between the naked eye star and your target object, and you hop one little group of stars to the next until you get to your object. It seems very difficult at first, but it gets easier as your skills get a little bit better. Now, different programs require different things to be recorded. With a Universe Sampler, for each one of your observations, your record should contain the name of the object, the date, the time, and the location of your observation, the condition of the sky, which we call seeing and transparency, the size instrument that you're using and the magnification, or naked eye if you choose that route, and your description of the object. Seeing in this case has nothing to do with the eyes. It refers to the stability of the atmosphere. It's rated 1 through 10, 1 being worst, 10 being the best. In a sky rated 1, the stars twinkle violently. The planets seem like they're in pools of water. And a 10 is perfect seeing. The images are sharp and steady. A 10 rated sky is very rare. I've seen it maybe 3 times in the 40 years that I've been observing. It usually happens when it's freezing outside and all the moisture in the air condenses and falls out of the sky as frost. Now, usually when it gets that cold, I'm not observing, I'm in bed. Transparency refers to the clarity of the sky. And it's usually rated between 1 and 6. It corresponds to the dimmest star that you can see with your naked eye. Most people can't see stars dimmer than 6th magnitude with their unaided eye. But if you happen to have very keen eyesight and you can see 6.5 or 7th magnitude stars, you should rate the sky accordingly. Since you need to record the magnification you're using on each observation, a helpful hint for always knowing what the magnification you're using is to have that information right on your telescope. I have a list of all of my eyepieces and the magnification with my telescope, and if I use a Barlow, the magnification with that Barlow. So at a glance, if I happen to forget, I can just real easily find what magnification I'm using. And also, the brightest stars are labeled with the Greek alphabet. And sometimes I forget what the symbol for a certain Greek letter looks like, especially those that I don't use very often. So I also keep that information right on my telescope. Now, let's talk a little bit about descriptions for the objects that you observe. In the list of requirements, I say it's your description of the object. Now, this is not stating that it's a galaxy or a star cluster. That's really not a description at all. It's not the description copied out of the book. It's not what somebody else says it looks like. But you need to write down in your log what you see in the eyepiece. So let's use a galaxy as an example. How would you describe a galaxy? Here's a few questions that you can ask yourself while you're looking at a galaxy. Did you see it in the finder? If you did, note that in your log. Is it large or is it small? Is it bright or is it dim? What's the overall shape? Is it round, oblong? Is it a thin streak? Do you see any detail or overall brightness somewhere across that galaxy? Is there a central bulge or a dark lane? Do you see spiral arms? Are there any field stars near or on the face of the galaxy? So you can put a lot of information into your observation just by answering these questions. And you can do the same with any object. The things you would ask yourself are different for the different types of objects. The point that I want to get across is that someone reading your description should be able to visualize in their mind what you saw in the telescope eyepiece. I would suggest you use pre-printed log sheets like this. This has information for everything that you need to record and some. If you're interested in drawing an object, there's a place for you to do that, and then a space here for all the comments that you want to make about the object. There's a couple in the book that you can use, or you can make your own. I custom make my log sheets for each program that I observe, and I do it in Word. It's very easy. I also recommend that you organize your logs by program. I would suggest you use a separate notebook or a 3-ring binder for each observing program. As you begin to observe, you'll find that there are many, many league programs to observe, and you might want to work on 2, 3, 5 at one time. And if you just log all your observation chronologically, then when you get ready to turn in your observations for your certificate and pen, it'd be kind of hard to separate them. But if you keep them in separate binders, it's very easy for you to turn them in. I would suggest that you draw your objects. You don't have to be an artist. It's one of the best ways to train your eye to see detail in an object. And the equipment that you need is very simple. A clipboard, a sharp pencil, ebony pencil, and a smudge stick for things like galaxies and nebula, and a good eraser. One thing I really want to make clear is that observing should be fun. If it's not fun, you're doing something wrong. And you'll find that there will be times when you're not having fun. You can't find the object. You're getting frustrated. You just want to give up. When this happens, and it most likely will, just stop. Take a break. Walk away from your telescope and just relax for a few minutes. Go have a snack. Spend a few minutes just talking to someone. If the object is just plain hard for you to find, just leave it. Go back, start observing again with something bright, something that you know you can find and enjoy. Build up your observing skill a little bit before you try that difficult object. It'll still be there when you're ready for it. And remember, you can always ask for help. You're not alone in this endeavor, and you should not observe alone. You'll be amazed at how much you learn just by observing with other people. So now, let's begin our journey. Remember, you'll be using only your eyes for the first part of this journey. Your first encounter will be the brightest stars in the night sky. You'll visit at least 15 of them. You'll learn their names and learn in which constellation they're found. These stars will become your guideposts for finding those faint fuzzies in the night sky. Here's some of the bright stars, just not all, but some. And when you look at bright stars, look for color. You'll probably never see color in anything else that you observe, but you can see color in stars. Here, Antares and Betelgeuse are red. Arcturus and Aldebaran are more orangey looking. Canopus and Capella are yellow. Vega and Deneb are white. You'll visit a couple of stars and you'll measure the angular distance between the stars. And you can use your hands as a measuring stick. Your little finger, when held out in front of you, covers about a half a degree of the sky, and that's about the size of the full moon. Your fist is about 10 degrees. Hook 'em horns is 15 degrees. Now, everybody's hands are sized differently. Some are larger than average and some are smaller than average. So you can kind of calibrate your hand measurements by using the Big Dipper, the stars in the Big Dipper. You'll visit another set of stars and you'll estimate the altitude and the azimuth. Altitude is measured in degrees of arc from the horizon, which is 0 degrees, to the zenith, the point directly overhead, which is 90 degrees. Azimuth is measured along the 360-degree horizon, with north being 0, east 90 degrees, south 180 degrees, and west 270 degrees. You'll learn about RA and DEC. And for me, the easiest way to think of the celestial coordinates is to extend the lines of the Earth's latitude and longitude out into space. Think of a ball inside of a much larger ball, Earth inside the celestial sphere. The Earth's equator becomes the celestial equator. Earth's latitude lines become the celestial parallels of declination, DEC for short. And these are measured in degrees, beginning at the equator, which is 0 degrees, and northward 90 degrees to the celestial North Pole, which is plus 90 degrees. And again, from the equator to the south celestial pole, which is minus 90 degrees. When the Earth's longitude lines are extended out to the celestial sphere, they become the hours of RA. RA is designated in time, in hours, minutes, and seconds. And there are 24-hour circles at 1-hour intervals. These hour circles run from the celestial North Pole to the celestial South Pole. 0 hours, right here, is at the vernal equinox or the spring equinox. This is the point where the sun crosses the equator as it goes from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. And this happens around March 21st. RA increases to the east, goes all the way around and back to 0 hours. There is no 24-hour circle. The hour circles measure the distance in time of any object on the celestial sphere from the vernal equinox. And the vernal equinox is located in the constellation Pisces. 1 hour of RA is equal to 15 degrees. So, just as you can pinpoint any place on Earth with a latitude, longitude, address, you can do the same thing with objects in the night sky using RA and DEC. And star charts use this system with the hours of right ascension at the top of and usually at the bottom of the page also. And declination along the left and right margins. You will visit variable stars. These are stars that change in brightness. And you learn how to determine the brightness of a variable star by using the known brightness of nearby stars as a measuring stick. The book contains AAVSO star charts for these 4 stars. You'll pick 2 of them, and you'll do 4 brightness estimates of each of the 2. You'll visit the nearest star to us, the sun. It is extremely dangerous to observe the sun without the proper protection. Never look at the sun with your naked eye. You could be instantly blinded. The program asks you to use a pinhole camera to project the sun's image onto a piece of paper and look at it that way. You can use a telescope, but only with the proper filters to protect your eyes. Never use solar filters designed for the eyepiece. I'm not sure they even make those anymore, but if you should happen to have one, throw it away. They can crack from the heat from the sun and instantly blind you. You will observe meteors. You'll plot the path of 2 meteors on a star chart. Now, this takes a little bit of advanced planning. You need to determine ahead of time what part of the sky you're going to be looking at and have the proper star charts handy, because when you see one, you want to mark on your star chart where you first saw it and where it disappeared. Now, all of these exercises are really easy to do. And all you need to do them is your eyes. No telescope, no binoculars. So at this point, you need to decide, are you going to continue using only your eyes? Those are the brightest objects. Or will you, and you will need a dark sky sight to see most of them. A few of them are bright and easy to see, like the Pleiades, Beehive, even M31. But most of them are very small, dim fuzzies. Or will you use a telescope? These objects are too dim to be seen without a telescope. Most are very easy to find, but a few will be challenging. Whatever way you decide to go, you will look at the same type of objects. We'll visit the moon, our nearest neighbor in space. You'll learn a little bit about its phases, and you'll learn to recognize some of the features on the moon. You will visit 3 planets other than Earth, and you can choose which 3 you would like to look at. You will visit at least 1 comet that comes from the outer regions of our solar system and gets close enough to the sun where it becomes visible to us. A naked eye comet can be used for either list. You'll visit some of the most beautiful double stars in the sky. Just look at the color difference in this pair of stars. One is yellow and one is blue. This is Alberio, the head of Cygnus, the swan. You look at open clusters of stars. This is one of my favorites. We call it ET because it reminds us of the extraterrestrial. Here's his bright eyes. Dimmer stars make up his body. His arms run out to his sides, and his legs are down this way. This is a great object for public outreach. The kids just go nuts. They really love it. You'll visit globular clusters like NGC 6441. This is another one of my favorites. And it's a beautiful view in the telescope with G Scarpy, bright golden G Scarpy in the same telescope field. You'll visit galaxies like M51. When you look at this object, try to see this bridge connecting M51 to its companion galaxy, NGC 5195. It's very dim, but it's doable. You'll visit Planetary Nebula. This is M57. It looks like a smoke ring or a fuzzy donut. And this is really easy to find. It's located almost midway between Beta and Gamma Lyrae. So it's and this objects come through in light pollution. So it's a great object for outreach also. The universe sampler is designed to be completed in a year, but that doesn't mean you have to complete it in a year. Take your time and learn each lesson. It'll pay off in the long run. Once you've completed this program, you should be well acquainted with the night sky, and you should be able to find your way among the stars with no problem. You should know what type of objects interest you the most, whether it be galaxies or star clusters or double stars or whatever. And you should be ready to continue observing with another one of the League's programs. Your reward when you finish this program is a certificate and this pen. This is your badge of accomplishment. And there's nothing magic about becoming a good observer. It takes time. It takes patience, lots of patience. It takes a willingness to put forth the effort. You won't become a good observer if you give just a quick glance at the objects you're looking at and then hurry off to find another one. It also takes a yearning to see what's in this fascinating universe that we live in. Questions?
Thank you very much. Amelia, how long did it take to put this program together?
It took me about 2 years.
Yeah. How did you get the idea?
As I said, there was no, once I finished the Messier program, there really wasn't anything designed for beginners. And the next step was the Herschel 400, and that's not an easy program to do. So I felt that there was a need for another program that would bridge that, but also something that would help the beginner learn, like lessons to teach them about this, teach them about that. Who knows what star hopping is when they first come into the hobby? You know, you talk about star hopping and they don't know. What are you talking about? Just stuff like that. It took me about 2 years to put it together.
That's cool. How long has it been together as an official program?
I believe it was published in 96 or 98. I don't remember.
Gotcha. That's really cool. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
In the rules against what you can't do, you referenced electronic devices. Would those include using a Sky Safari or Stellarium at night?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Hold on a second.
Let me turn my volume up. I've had difficulty hearing.
I'm not sure how now. Go repeat your question.
You want to go? So in terms of restrictions on electronic devices, does that also apply to like Sky Safari and Stellarium?
What are those?
You can use them as a star chart to see where you're going. You just cannot use electronics on the telescope itself.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What about the new gadgets like the electronic binoculars? I'm just being facetious.
Electronic binoculars, haven't heard those.
Well, they're coming out. It's insane. Unistellar is about to put them out. Yeah, another question.
Yeah, on my large Sony, I have a laser which helps me get the general area where I'm looking. Would that be allowed?
We heard, you said you have a laser on your Dobsonian?
Yeah, you turn it on that way when you can roughly get it in the sky.
We can't
Okay.
hear the questions.
What was the question?
Oh, sorry. As far as aiming and pointing, like your telescope, can you use a laser pointer?
As long as you move the telescope manually.
Oh yeah, it's not yet.
He's
Yeah.
using it as a finder.
Yeah. Take
You
off your
can use the Telrad or,
You can use it already.
You can?
yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Amelia while we have her here?
What she mentioned working with others, how
Oh,
close can that assistance?
how do you recommend working as a group or working with others in terms of who claims what visit or what site, or how do you how would you recommend doing this as a group?
Okay, if you have more than one person using one telescope, you can both log the objects. Take turns, you find it, the other person finds one, and you can work together. As a group, I suggest you talk about your observations. Hey guys, look what I see over here. Can you see this in this object? You know, and just question each other, share your views, compare. And you pick up so much when you do that with other people. I know I did. I have a friend that I've observed with over the years, and I would not be the observer that I am had it not been for him. I learned so much from him just by observing with him. And he would point out different things that he would see in an object that I had totally overlooked. And he taught me how to look for things in an object.
So some level of mentoring and coaching is within the realm of this.
Some level of coaching. We're saying some level of coaching,
Yeah, mentoring, coaching.
mentoring,
Yeah,
tutoring.
definitely.
yeah, yeah. Up here.
Yeah.
And it makes observing more fun when you do it with other people.
Also keeps the bears away. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know how many certificates that our club has registered.
Is there a way to figure out how many certificates our club has, or anything like that through the Astronomical League?
Yes, on the league website, you go to the observing, and there's a certificate lookup, and you put in a person's name or put in a club name, and see how many people have certificates for that. Yes,
What?
from the league website.
Can you do that now and tell us?
Oh, well, I could probably do that afterwards,
Okay,
after we get off.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. One more question.
So I noticed there in the title it says observing for small telescopes. What I would be probably using my 12-inch Dob. Would that be
Well, I did this program using a 13.1 Coulter. I really don't know what the smallest telescope is needed to do this program. I honestly don't know.
but a 12-inch Dob would be acceptable?
Oh yeah, you can go way smaller than that
Or larger.
or large. Yeah.
Small is relative. I'm a big guy, so
At least with my.
Now, when I put this program together, it's been how many years? In the 90s?
Something like that.
Our dark sky site was a whole lot darker than it is now. I probably would not be able to observe all the deep sky objects on the naked eye list at my observing site right now. It's gotten that much brighter. So
What?
you really, for that, to do the naked eye list, you really do need a dark sky site.
what Bortle would you recommend?
One.
One.
Full scale. I'm not sure how that works.
The lower the brighter, or the lower the better.
The lower the number, yes. probably a 3 or a 4
Gotcha.
portal,
Gotcha.
but I'm coming in here.
Yeah.
When we do outreach in the city, we can pull out the Ring Nebula.
But that's an exception.
Yeah,
You know. There are a few objects that we do use in a lot of light pollution, like the ring, like ET, NGC 457, and there are several others that, you know, we keep in our pocket for outreach because they are bright. They do come through.
Yeah. How far out of Houston do you have to go to do any deep dark sky?
It's about 80 miles.
80.
80 miles, about an hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad. Good deal. Any other questions?
Yeah, this is Chuck. Where
Hey,
do we
Chuck.
find the Universe Sampler program? How do you actually get to it?
You can order it from the league.
Go to the league store.
Yeah, Chuck, I'll post a message to our groups with the link to it. That way you can have it. Next time I see you, I actually have the booklet with me, so you can take a look through it as well. So
Okay,
I'll
great.
go ahead and do that. Yeah. Good deal.
98.
Any other questions? All right, Amelia. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about this. Excited to get started with it. I know I need to learn the sky better, and this program definitely seems to help out with that. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
you.
Have a great day.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Let's do this. Ah, that's me. Now let's turn me off. All right. Go to extend that. Probably just broke Zoom. Nope. Get back over here. Well, let's see. Start my presentation up.
One of the easier programs to start with is outreach, and there's different levels of it. And a lot of you are doing that anyhow. And so all you gotta do is to register those and then send them in, and you can get up to, I guess they call it, master's level outreach. And there's just 3 different parts of that.
Right now, I would suggest though that the only 2 people who are actually doing outreach per the outreach program would be Chuck and myself,
Yeah, if you're not doing it.
because there's more to it than just going to a site with a telescope and having people look through your telescope. It's a great program. We should be doing more of it, but
You're explaining how there's more to it than showing people and explaining to them what they're looking at.
Yeah.
well, because there's size requirements of your audience, and are you doing a presentation? What does that presentation entail? And you just have to go read the program description, but
Yeah, I've already done the programs, but I did them 10 years ago. So they may have new qualifications for it. I know they revamped the program. They got different levels of masters.
Yeah.
We used to just have one of them.
Right.
And now they've got several levels. And it's a progression. And I think there's about 65 and 70 programs that you can do.
Yep.
And for imaging, for the imagers, they've got stuff to use. And on visual stuff, and so.
All right. Can you guys hear me on Zoom, and can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome.
There are 8 Astronomical League Awards for this club. So way back in 1999, Barbara Brand did the binocular Messier observing program. Mike Benson did the double star observing program. William Magwell, I think he Bill most of the time, did Messier observing program at the gold level and the silver level. Chuck Schlem is an outreach person. Donna Hummel did the gold Messier observing program.
more involved in the asteroid observing program at the building level. And I just got my this past spring master third award.
Sounds like we got some work to do. I have a feeling Amelia has more certificates in our club.
Yeah, pick a thing and go out and look at it. Of course, we've had a kind of a dearth of clear nights, but even though it's been hot. So, you know, you just have to kind of say, okay, I'm gonna go out. The hard ones are the ones you have to wake up in the wee hours for, like to go see the super thin, young, you know, old moon right before sunrise. Yeah, that's a challenge. You can't do it every month because sometimes the way the new moon falls, it's not gonna give you that chance, but when it's clear and it's a good opportunity, it's not that hard to do. You just have to get up and go out.
That's the tough part.
Back page. The person was trying to see some of those, you know, pictures on the moon. He's got a really nice shot of the moon that finally I saw the cow in the moon. So that's just a really good, you know, if you get Sky and Telescope, take a look at the back article on the back of the magazine. And that'll let you know when. I always wonder, why do they let you go off and give us moon? And you look at it and you go, oh, that's why. Picture. Next time we have to give us moon, I'm gonna go out and get that.
For those interested non-members, that's a perk of being a member. You get discount to Sky and Telescope, which Theo is currently talking about. All right, we'll go ahead and get started up with our business part. Did you have a question, Chuck, or are you good? Thought I heard something. Okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and get started up with our official business. It looks like there's about 25 in the room, 8 currently online, including myself. So I guess 7, just so we have numbers that we can put down. Welcome everybody to the official business for the BSAS. I'm Tom Beckerman, current president of our club. Welcome everybody. I know I've seen some new faces. Welcome any visitors and such. If you're interested in becoming a member or interested about the club, we've got a little presentation to show you, and then we'll talk about some of the outreach that we're doing, some of the things that I found interesting as I put this together, as I do every month. I always like to highlight a few pictures on the front page before we get started. On the left, I guess as you're looking at it, Tony from our club, this is the Trifid Nebula. It's always one of my favorites because I do heart research, and to me it looked like the chambers of the heart, and Trifid means 3 chambers. And so to me it's always a favorite. Plus you get the 2 different colors in there. And then on the right, the Veil Nebula is always one of my favorites. And it may be immature of me, but I'm going to take some liberty with Sheldon's image here. See if this works. So you have Eastern Nebula, or Eastern Veil, and Western Veil, and there's a whole bunch of other things in here. To me, I can't not see this. Anybody else? I mean, if you take this and you do this, and then you just kind of slide them together, you have the Eastern Veil alien. So it's one of my favorites just because of the colors and the shape you can pull out of it, and I just can't help myself. So Sheldon, thanks for the image. Hope you didn't mind my messing with your image. It's a beautiful image. All right. So we'll get our official call to order. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look at the eclipses that went out with our minutes in it from the board meeting and previous member meeting. Does anybody have any questions about the goings on from the last month? Nope. Typical. All right. Member report. Keith is not on here, I believe. It looks like, and I have my number posted. We're at 236 members. So doing pretty good with that. Theo, do you have a treasurer's report for us?
Yeah. We haven't done anything in the last little while. We have 18 we paid through our Zoom account. We did our AL dues in June. In PayPal, we've got $99.38. So social media has also been pretty much the same. were liked by 2.4K and followed by 2.7K people, and X is 325.
Good deal. Thank you very much. All right. On to business that we have going on. Next month's member meeting is September 17th. It's the third Wednesday as well. It'll be at 7 p.m., hopefully on Zoom and YouTube. YouTube, if I remember to hit the button, which I did today. So we should be streaming on YouTube. Hi, everybody in YouTube land. We're currently setting up for next year's Star Party locations and potential speaker recommendations. We've got through November booked right now. So if you have any speakers that you're interested in or topics that you'd be interested in, let me know and we can go from there. We're also discussing setting up kind of little subgroups, one kind of focused on astrophotography, one focused more on visual astronomy to get people together that not saying that we should be water and oil, but people that like to do visual, people that like to do regular, like just astrophotography in general. Feel like there's a lot of knowledge in each of those camps, and we can learn a lot from each other. And so we're kind of playing around with those ideas, and look for some more information coming out on Google Groups as we're putting things together. If anybody has any interest in running or helping put these things together, the visual or the astrophotography, let us know. I know Keith has a Discord set up that we're thinking about running the astrophotography side through. I've talked to a couple other clubs to see how they're doing it as well. But I think it would be, maybe meet a couple times a year or something just to kind of get some time with our friends. So those are some of the things that we've been talking about in our board meetings. Hopefully more will come of it. This is our website currently. I usually do a walkthrough for those of you that are new here. We're at bsasnashville.com. It's kind of our catchphrase here. On our website, we have a few things. We still have Hat Show print posters from our 90th anniversary, which was 4 years ago. Theo, how many of those we have left? A bunch. So if you're interested in them, Theo's got them here for 20, or she'll ship it to you for 25 in a nice round tumbler. Again, they built this Hat Show print specifically for us, and it was the first time they used that telescope printers. So it's our own special little thing that they designed for us. On the website, you'll see star parties, upcoming announcements. Here's a member meeting, and there's the next star party. We had the one that was supposed to be at Warner Park that got rained out, so got updated here. Again, my favorite thing on here, this was last night when I put this together, the clear sky chart. So if you're getting ready to lug out your 12-inch knob or whatever size your small telescope is, you may want to look here and see how dark your sky is going to be. The darker, the better. And so I usually look at these top couple numbers to see if it's even worth pulling my stuff out. But I do a lot of electronic, and my dwarf is the size of a book, so I don't really have to worry too much. But if I am logging around a 12-inch Dob, I'm going to want to be paying attention to these things. But it's a really cool little feature that we have. And it runs about 3 days ahead. But there's also an extra little piece down here that kind of gives a little bit more of an extended forecast for if you're interested. Up here on the left, there's a menu here where the Become a Member link is available. If you were to click on that, it takes you to this page here. Membership benefits. We have the Eclipse newsletter that comes out monthly. You get discounted subscriptions to Astronomy and Sky and Telescope magazine. You can take care of that through Night Sky Network. Membership to the astronomical leagues, as well as getting their subscription to the Reflector, which is the quarterly journal. If you're wondering, the Astronomical League is the one that's hosting the sampler program and hosting these certificates. And so we're members of that. If you're a member of this club. Yeah.
Then also, once you get your certificate for any of the programs, they'll put it in the Reflector.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So you could be famous, Reflector famous, not just Eclipse famous. We also have private star parties that we can go to. We have access to a couple dark sky sites down on the Harpeth or Natchez Trace Parkway, and you get a vote in BSAS elections. So all the fun and joys of that. Payment down here, we do a lot with PayPal, or seems like we have an Apple Pay button, where we have a whole bunch of things here. Here you can see the current fees. These are yearly fees. So individuals 25, family 35, student 15, and senior families 20. So it's not too much going out for the value that we get out of it. You could probably save that amount in your sky and telescope and astronomy fees. One of the other perks of the club is the BSAS loaner program. That's just one of the opportunities that you get from being a member. If you're interested in a specific type of telescope, like a Dob, could you carry it around? Would you carry it around? It's always interesting to see what you would use. And so if you're thinking about buying a Dob, see if we have one that you can borrow. So you can see the logistics of, will this even fit in my car if I bought an 8-inch, right? So we have those. We have a variety of telescopes that you can find. This is the QR code that'll take you to the Google Sheet with it, but you can also access that through our Google group. This is available for loan, so it's no other cost to you other than just being a member. If you're interested in one, you'll click a button and it'll send an email to a couple of us, and we'll try and get a scope to you. If you do have a scope, let us know if you're still using it. We like to hear how our children are doing as they're out venturing the world. And so if you do have a scope, we'd love to hear about how you're doing with it. If you use it for outreach, if you're struggling with it, if you want to throw it against the wall because it's out of collimation. If you don't know what collimation is, probably should check your collimation. Things like that we can help with. There are people that are a lot more knowledgeable about this stuff than but we can get you on the right track, because as our speaker said, this should be fun, right? And if you're fighting with a telescope that's blurry or too heavy or whatnot, it can kind of take the fun out of it. And so the best telescope you have is the one you use. And so that kind of goes in with that. So if there's anything we can help with, if you have a scope, let us know. If you have a scope, feel free to come out to one of these star parties with us. We've been talking about what that could mean in the future for people and helping with star parties and such like that. And so we'll talk about, potential for further potential for outreach for people that aren't necessarily comfortable with scopes. Like if you wanted to go out and just introduce people to the telescopes that we have, like Tony's got M20, Steve's got the Dumbbell Nebula, just kind of point people around to what they could potentially see that night. There's value in that there. So we love getting people out with scopes or without scopes. So, all right, back to our website. Here we have a link for our Eclipse. This is our monthly newsletter that gets sent out. On our website, you click that, it'll take you here. And then I always point this out because it amazes me. We have history all the way back to 2001. And so they're in PDFs. So you can go and look back and see how things were in March of 2001. It's pretty cool to kind of look through there.
Tom?
Yep.
Can you go back, just think, when was the next public star party, the date?
It's Saturday, right? With Chuck?
Yes, Saturday, August 23rd.
Yeah.
August 23rd?
23rd, yes. Out at Montgomery Bell, right?
Right. I'm going to be out at about 6 o'clock doing solar, and then we'll follow up with 8 to 10 o'clock, 8 to 10:30 or so.
Yeah.
Star
Looking at
party
the sky.
on Friday night.
And is that a Friday or Saturday? I didn't.
Saturday.
Chuck's a Saturday. We've got Henry Horton on Friday night as well. So
Saturday at Cedars.
and Saturday at Cedars. So
If you live on the east side of town and don't want to drive 2 hours, if you live on the west side of town, go to Montgomery Bell. But if you live on the east side of town, I offer you Cedars 11. There's a great site.
yeah,
So there is a show on this Saturday,
it's out of Montgomery Bell. Yeah, Montgomery Bell State Park.
Montgomery Bell. Yeah. Okay. Where was this Horton?
Henry, Randy behind you. You can catch him. When it,
Horton is Friday night.
This
Cedars-
Friday?
Yes.
Day after?
Yeah, and Cedars 11 is also Saturday night, so.
Yeah.
it gives you a choice.
This got lost off the website.
yeah, we'll run into it here in a second. Yeah. All right. Let's see. we'll run through the calendar here towards the end where things are kind of listed together what we have. We also try and be social. Here we have a discussion forum that will take you to our Google Groups, which we'll get to in a second. We also have links to our socials, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as our YouTube page, which hopefully this is showing up on. Our Facebook group is good to keep track of, current goings on. This was a post yesterday, basically talking about our meeting today. Theo, did you see if you get likes still? Can you still see likes?
So, well, if I had to get somebody else to take this over, because I just don't social, but.
Yeah, I looked yesterday to see if our numbers needed updated, and they no longer show likes to me. It just says how many people we follow now. And so I don't know what kind of weird thing that is, but we're almost at 2,800 followers. So I did see that number. So it's exciting as we kind of get up to there. If you see a post you like, share it. It helps us out in our numbers too. So we can get more followers that way. Our Instagram page, we have a lot of really pretty pictures coming out from our club. Here again, the alien nebula, but we have a lot of really cool Saturn images coming through, and one I'll show in a little bit with the transit from the early morning a couple days ago. If you're interested in getting featured on our Instagram page, we'd be happy to promote your beautiful work. If you want, send us your image with your Instagram handle so we can give you credit. And you can send it to info@bsasnashville.com or post it to the Google Groups, which is probably where we snagged these images that you see here. As far as Google Groups go, this is the homepage for our discussion board right now. If you are a member and don't have access, email us here, info@bsasnashville.com, and we can add you in. It's a private thing, so we don't get a lot of spam coming through. At the top of this list, there's a couple things. The Natchez Trace permit. So the Natchez Trace is where, again, we have private star parties if you're interested in going to a little bit darker skies. It's usually once a month near the new moon. Since the Natchez Trace Parkway is a national thing, they really like to police that, and they don't want anybody out there after dark. And so if you do go out after dark, we have a permit specifically for 2 spots out there. And so always have, if you go out there, make sure you carry it on you or have it on your phone. So if the sheriff stops you or the National Park Police or the Park Police stop you, you can be like, I'm with this club, and they can check it out and let you do your thing. Also on here is our equipment list. And so it's just a hot link up here that'll take you to our Google group or the Google Sheet document that we have that'll show what equipment we have. Also on the Google group, again, this is where we can kind of be a little bit more social. Pop-ups and star parties show up on here. I know I saw Randy just posted a whole bunch of dates for Cedars Lebanon and Henry Horton. I didn't get to add those in because I was running here today. But he keeps up on that pretty good on the discussion boards. And so if you're interested in the Henry Horton and Cedars Lebanon sites, there's a whole bunch of posts on there in regards to those. There's also a whole bunch of pretty pictures, right? So that's always good because we all love eye candy. This is Brad's image of the Titan Transit. I can't remember what the little moon is there. I wrote it down, Dion, coming around here. And so that's a really cool image. I don't know how early in the morning that was. Yeah.
So, well, while you got Saturn up on the thing, I can kind of tag on that. Scott Legg, who has been one of my key volunteers, along with a couple other folks with Cedars and Henry Horton, he's really been pushing me hard. And then Theo had kind of thrown the ball at my court, and at the time I'd not done much with it. But the next best transit, shadow transit, is September 19th. There's another one before that, but it'll be with a lot of moon in the sky, so it'll be challenging to say the least. September the 19th is a Friday night. There will be flip-flop the star parties for Cedars and Henry Horton, so Cedars is Friday night because they have a much better southern southwestern sight line than Henry Horton does. But what Scott's been pushing me to do is to let's go to Pickett. Is there because I know from some of the rest of y'all been in my ear that this group has gone to Pickett in the past for events. I did send an email to Michael Hodge, but I haven't heard back from him as to, because their group cabins are already closed for the summer, so it would be a special event opening. Apparently, he has been amenable to such things in the past. But if I was to hear back from him that he was open to that, what is the interest within this group for chasing that rabbit further?
Yeah, we could probably post something up on the groups and set up a poll to see interest. Yeah,
Generally does the fall program, not for a weekend, but it didn't last year because they had some family problems.
Talking about Michael Hodge?
yeah,
And that's what I had asked him in the email I sent, what are you already doing in the way of programs? I think probably a lot of us are guilty of assuming that because I know this, everybody in the astronomy world knows this, and it's likely a silly assumption. So I told him what my particular interest was and the kind of what made that weekend special. Because this is it's the last time for the next 15 years. God willing, I'll still be here in 15 years, but who knows if, even if I am, maybe it'll be cloudy or my eyes don't work so good. Who knows?
Too, because he does take a lot of poking, and I also think I know the guy who's like the head ranger there. Because this would be an event, it would be fun to open up, even though it's the wee hours of the morning, it'd be fun to open up to the community.
Yeah.
I happen to be stupidly lucky. They have these really cool things called glowworms in the spring. You should go and see them because they're larvae of a fly, okay, but they glow blue, which is unusual. So anyway, I was going up to see that. It was Mother's Day weekend a year ago. And that happened to be the weekend that the aurora just went shabam.
Yeah.
And so on my way up, it's a clear night, and at the time I have a really highly curated feed on some of them, and it was blowing up because Europe was going, the sky is on fire. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, see, they have an astronomy, they have two places. One is the group camp, which is slightly darker. The other is an astronomy field next to the highway that has electricity. And when we got there, there were a few people there. By the end of the night, I have never seen that many people parked on the side of the road. Everything else, the place was jammed. And everybody was just, staring at the sky going, oh boy, it was fun. So there are enough, people in the community that if you opened up and said, hey, this whole thing is going on, come on out.
And it's not even crazy late, early in the morning, because the transit will start at about 12:05. So like if you go to Sky and Telescopes, say, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about because it says September 20th and he's talking about the 19th. Well, it's the night of the 19th because 5 o'clock UTC is, 5:05 is 12:05, it's the 20th. But yeah, so for those of you who actually have previous experience with Michael and are interested in pursuing this, I'm happy as a plan to have somebody else. And I know my wife would be especially happy to have somebody else driving this ship. But
it's a small park as far as parks go. The field next to the road has a pretty good south.
yeah. That's what I was thinking where we'd have to go because I think that the group area. I don't know how good that southern. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to
move
be
back.
a great sight line because at
Yeah.
12:05, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
I looked this up earlier, I should know this. It's like 45, 46 degrees up. And by the time 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it won't be done, but it's still only down to about 35
Yeah.
degrees. So, unless, when I was at Capitol Reef a month or so ago, I had a mountain behind me, Sagittarius, the teapot never came out from behind that mountain. But I don't think, I suspect this field doesn't have a blockage quite so extreme.
Theo, have you created a stellarium for?
So actually, it's football sized trees, but yeah, there are trees really, when you go out in the middle of the field, and they're just, well, so it doesn't matter. There is no electricity out there, so that's, which some of us don't care as much about, but some people do. The group camp is sort of in a weird pseudo limbo. It's what the state would really like to do, which I really hate, is, but I understand it, they'd like to create another campground up there. And I get that, it's space, they can maybe get more money that way, but I don't know why they don't rent it out later in the year.
Yeah, it's really weird what's on their website.
Like they'll have, ranger training and different groups will use it for that. Cause I kind of told them, I said, hey, I will pay you money. So I'll pay you money.
Yeah.
Cause the group camp has not only bathrooms for climate control, it's really nice, but it has, the doors, okay, the mattresses, they count them from the prison, okay?
Yeah. But there's a kitchen.
They also.
So,
I know.
Mhm.
You can see. The first time I thought, oh, we gotta have weekends up here sometime. And we have had some good weekends, we're just kind of getting started and COVID happened and everything, but yeah. And it is a dark sky park, and so they're kind of required to do programs every so often.
They want to keep their certification, yeah.
Right, so that's another, push point.
I remember it was 2018. That was my first time going up there. And then we had a year and then COVID hit, so.
They acquired back about 2017, 18. The idea was, the outreach guy at UTK was the driving force for this, that they were going to have an astronomy campground. Where you would have a little like a concrete pad. They already have a bathroom sort of roughed in. And so you could sit up there with your telescope and have like a little cot or whatever, a place to, sleep, and this great observing platform. And still there technically, they have the land.
I copied Ryan Jenkins on my email because Ryan is a member of the club.
Yeah.
And I don't know what exactly his title is, other than he works down in the Davy Crockett Tower, though he's higher than just a local state park ranger.
But I occasionally wanted to go downtown and lobby hard that a number of the parks have places where they could create, if it's just a grassy field where we can put our scopes for the night and have an astronomy field. And I think it'll be a wonderful thing, but it's.
Well, and that's what Cedars 11 in particular has offered us, because we're down at the field. You gotta walk a quarter mile to get to the restroom at night. Yep. But the campground is several layers of trees away, so you can't see any light from the campground. There's no road nearby, so there's none of what Chuck's afflicted with at Montgomery Bell, where pickup trucks are coming in from both trucks and washing the field.
I think
don't
we're
have
sold
any of
on
that
it.
down there. It's just
Yeah.
dark, and they say as long as the audience is willing and as long as you're willing, you can stay down there. And Scott and Larry Sutherland is a former member of the club, and Bobby McCullough and we've been down there till 2:30 in the morning a couple times. We occasionally have audience members that'll stay as late as 11 or 11:30, but for the people who have sort of a dual interest of being willing to share visual observation stuff and then turn around and do AP, both of these parks are really amenable to come share with the public until 10:30, 11, whenever they leave. Because a lot of them leave early because they got kids with them, and the kids get tired and cranky and they're gone. But you can, flip over and start taking pictures,
Yeah.
and you can stay as long as you like. And at Cedars, I don't have a gate I have to worry about. At Henry Horton, I actually got to lock a gate behind me, or at least tell Gary Purchase I'm leaving, come lock the gate, but,
Good deal. Yeah.
that's your Titan picture.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So another image that was posted was by Chris, Bubble Nebula. Like I said, a lot of really pretty pictures coming off the Google groups. Some of these are shared on Instagram as well. But yeah, so if you like these pretty eye candies, Google Groups is a good place for it. If you really like photography, we have a BSAS Astrobin group. Here you can see, if I remember, from here up was just this month. So, a lot of people posting pictures. We're adding more people into the group, so more pictures will show up. So if you're interested, reach out to us at info@bsasnashville.com and share with us your Astrobin account, and we can add you to it. So these pictures would show up in your group, and we could see your pictures as well. Yeah.
Aside from the pictures, is there also a description of what each photo is somewhere?
If you click on it, it'll pull up the page, and Astrobin's really good because it'll plate solve and tell you what it is and tell you what's around it. And the person who takes the picture can put in all the information. Like it was Bortle 7, it was, good seeing. These are the instruments that I use. This was the camera. This was the mount. How much time and how they edited, what kind of filters. And so it's a really good site, especially if you're just trying to learn. Like, holy cow, I want that picture. And you can look at it and be like, oh, that rig costs $7,000. I don't need that picture, right? But then you go, that's on my wish list, right? It's a place where you can lose a lot of money. However, a lot of pretty pictures there. So if you're interested in joining it or checking it out, Astrobin's free for just looking and signing up and stuff like that. I think with the free account, you get to post maybe 10 images to your account. If you want more, then they have a small fee for you to go on. But if you want to join Astrobin for free and check out the pictures, you can do that too. Question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just to make the rest of us feel good, you should post Tiny Saturn.
Tiny Saturn? I thought I had it. No, Tiny Saturn was amazing. Yeah. I have a bunch of those. Is it? Yeah, it did post to the Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, it's on there. Yeah. I remember the first time I tried to get Saturn, it was with my D3100 and a 300 millimeter lens. And it was really tiny. Like you could barely make out any of the was that a football? And then you kind of played with the focus and squinted your eyes and tilted your head to avert your vision. Oh, yep, there's sort of a ring. So, but yeah, Tiny Saturn. It's amazing. All right. Finally, I just wanted to kind of point out down here at the affiliations, that program that Ms. Goldberg talked to us about is run through by the Astronomical League. And so that link is here. So you just click on that, it'll take you to Astronomical League. And in there's a list of programs or buttons that say programs and how it sorts programs. And you click on there, it'll take you to Universe Sampler program. Whenever, or if you want, this is how I found it, type in Astronomical League Universe Sampler program into Google, and it spits you out onto that sheet. The only caveat with this program versus the others is that they ask you to buy the book because the book has all the programming in it, like how it runs, all 10 lessons. Like I said, my book is over here if you wanted to check it out before you leave. It's on the floor. I'll pick it up as we go. It's 15. So it's not horribly expensive, but it's not free like the other ones where you just print out and check things off, right? But as I was looking through it, it's definitely going to get you used to looking at the sky, and I know I need to get better because my dwarf knows the sky and I didn't necessarily need to. So that's there. Theo's Love, the International Dark Sky Association here should be all of our loves. Link to that site. And then down here, we have a link to our NASA Night Sky Network. If you're interested in becoming a member, we ask that you register with Night Sky Network because that's how we run our rosters and our roles. If you click on that link, it'll take you here. This is all about our club. This is a screenshot from yesterday. So that's not from yesterday. Why didn't it? It didn't update for me because it's obviously late here. But I did find these links where it says join club and contact club. And so if you're interested in joining the club, you'll go to here and to this Night Sky Network, click this link, and it'll have a list of things to do. It'll ask for your information. Says make sure you paid through PayPal on the website or whatever. And so that'll get you into our system. If you're interested in contacting the club, I can't remember the info at bsasnashville.com. I sent a test email out using this button here, and it just goes through the website, and you type it in, type your question, and it goes to the info at BSAS Nashville site. So things I'm pushing buttons on, I'm learning. So it's a really cool site that we run our rosters off of. But there's a whole bunch of other things with the Night Sky Network. They have a lot of programs and a lot of things that you can do for outreach. They have articles every month. These are a few of them here talking about the summer triangle. They have a highlight of all three corners of the triangle. Here you see Altair. Here's Vega, and Deneb was over one. If you don't know what a summer triangle is, it's this big area here. It shows up pretty high in the summer and it goes pretty late in the year. And so it's a really good place to target. A lot of the really pretty things are over here in this region. The Ring Nebula and stuff's around here. So there's a lot of good things to see just knowing those three stars if you wanted to point your telescope that way. The other article that they're posting is this August night sky note. So every month they put a night sky note. These are the cool things that are happening. We're kind of getting into, not necessarily the end of Milky Way season, but it's kind of getting to the point where you can really start to see it good. They're kind of promoting this area called the Great Rift, which is this dark area seen through the core. And in this link for this website, this is the new scope, the Vera Rubin Observatory that they're putting out some amazing pictures with right now. They have this article in there, and it was basically like an outreach thing where you can kind of talk about size. And when we're thinking about the galaxy and think about how big we are, our solar system in the galaxy and stuff like that, I always like to have reference points. And so this is what they call the quarter model, that if you were to somehow get the Milky Way, or not the Milky Way, but the Milky Way, and squish it into the size of North America, we would be the size of a quarter with our solar system. So I could pull out a quarter, and that would be where we're at, to give you an idea of how big our solar system is. And then through there, they have some other activities, right? They have different things you can see in the sky. And so they have reference points so that if we were this size, right, Milky Way, and we're this little quarter sitting somewhere, maybe Nevada, Utah, somewhere around there, we would be 4 miles away from here, 37 miles away from here, 13 miles from here. So everything that we see whenever we're pointing out cool things in the sky is relatively close to us. That would be in this little area just around us. So it's a really cool way to kind of think about things. They have these little cards set up for each season, and so you can kind of point that out and get an idea of how far away these places are. It's a really cool little activity. Through the Night Sky Network, like I said, they have all these outreach resources and planning tools. So if you're planning on going out or want to go out, you can click on there and find some cool information. Here's a look at what's going on this month. Here you can see in the east, 3 planets, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter. In the west, Saturn coming up. This is tomorrow morning. Yeah. Moon's going to be around Mercury, and then you kind of see how everything's lining up early in the morning. And so if you're a morning person, it's a pretty good month for you if you like looking at planets. I am not a morning person. I like my nighttime. I'm not saying it's not night in the morning, but I'm usually sleeping at that point. So, but there's a lot of really cool things in the morning. I like when the things are at night, but to each their own. Under the Night Sky Planner tools, there's a lot of things. If you want to see how bright the moon is, here's our current sun and moon data. They have a clear sky chart, which is where we get our information for that little bar graph on the bottom of our website. The actual map is there where you can see cloud cover, where they get that information from. There's also these sky maps that they have. And so if you've never used a sky map, there's directions on there how to use a sky map. But this is how you can get oriented in the sky, just with the piece of paper. You find these marker stars, kind of like what Amelia was talking about, and it gives you an idea where things are at. This is the core of the Milky Way going through, more in the south, and then the arms coming up through Cassiopeia and keeps going. But every month they put out a new one of these. They have a sky calendar with cool things going on throughout the month. And then when you flip it over to the back, they have really cool objects that can be seen with naked eye, binoculars, and a telescope. So if you're interested in, what's out tonight, and it gives you kind of like an observing list if you wanted to go after them. And some of these are a little better in our bright skies than others, but still, it's a pretty good list of targets. I've printed a few of them out. They're back there on the chair by Steve, and I know that we have a couple other star charts back there as well. A lot of really good data. So if you're interested in using these, those are out there. And I always put this up there now because I always like wave. Does anybody else wave at the station as it goes by? I know they see me. They just ghosting me. But when you click the spot the station thing, it used to come up to a really cool website that had all the information of when your next sighting was and stuff like that. Now they push everybody to an app. This is on their website. You can see where the station is at any given point in time. So this was yesterday at 3:45 when I was putting this together. Gives you speed because I switched over to Imperial so I can understand it better, altitude and direction and stuff like that. All the really cool passes are in the morning right now. Through the app, you now have a way to get alerts on your phone that says, hey, there's a good viewing coming up tomorrow. You might want to get up at 3 a.m. to look at it. The app on the iPhone is this called Spot the Station. I'm pretty sure it's probably named the same on Android phones. But when you go there, it opens up this. So I have an iPhone. This was me at my home, right? The next sighting for me that would be good from my location is at 4:54 a.m. this morning. Obviously, I did not make that. How I mentioned my love of the mornings. Coming up though, right, August 21st, so that's tomorrow morning at 4:07 a.m. It's above the horizon for 2 minutes, max height of 44 degrees. And so it gives you these directions. If I were up at this time and didn't have my phone on silenced and muted and shoved in a hole so it doesn't wake me up, I might get that alert. All right. But it's pretty cool. If you just click here, you can set up the alerts that you want. So any time of day, type of the duration, I put all here. But duration, it can go from anywhere from a minute, anywhere from 30 seconds to 6 minutes, which is usually the longest it's going to take to come across. I usually like to filter those, especially if I'm going to get up in the morning. I don't want anything less than 3 minutes. And so you can set up that buffer where it only alerts you for that. Okay. If you're not wanting to use your phone, there's still a place where you can potentially plan online at Heavens Above. If you wanted to use this QR code, it would put you in at my GPS coordinates in Williamson County. But there's a lot of cool things on here. If you wanted to look at all the Starlink satellites, like I showed last meeting, it's insane. But here, we have some cool things like the ISS interactive 3D visualization. So if you wanted to watch the ISS in cartoon fly around, you can move all around it like you can on a Southwest flight with their little tracker and watch and see what it's looking over at that point in time. And so it's a pretty cool use of stuff there. But when you come down here and go to the 10-day predictions, the ISS is here, but they have a whole bunch of other things flying around. You can click on that and it'll give you this whole list. Now, a lot of these start time 4:07:35, end time 4:10, so that's 3 minutes. Here's a 6-minute one, but look how low they are on the horizon, right? So I have the buffer set at 30 degrees high because I have no horizon because I'm surrounded by houses. But some of these are really quick. I saw a few of them, like here starts at 3:21:06, ends at 3:21:28. Right. So you're going to have to catch that one real quick. Right. So you can kind of filter these out. But if you're planning, it helps out. So you can click on any of these dates here and it pulls up this. Now, can't remember which one this is, but here is this track of the ISS. And if you wanted to see how it interacts with your friend Cygnus over here with all that cool stuff that we've been seeing. You can click on that. And so here's Cygnus. And if you zoom in, it tells you literally when it's going to fly past your favorite star and whatnot. So it's kind of a cool little thing. So if you're like, oh my gosh, that's going to be close to Saturn or something like that, and you want to see it, see how close it'll get and whatnot, these star charts will kind of help you out. Again, I find cool things just by clicking buttons all the time. Go.
Right? Okay, but it's for finding transits.
Yeah, ISS Transit Finder.
Yeah, go.
Yep.
Got a couple. You can set how far am I willing to travel to see this? And those are fun, although you will get funny looks if you set up in a Home Depot parking lot. And you're there because, you're gonna watch the ISS go across the sun or something like that, but those are fun to catch.
Yeah.
They really are.
If you're doing that, do it in video because it flies. I mean, it like
And
quarter of a second.
Will not, if you're looking at it at any magnification, you will not see it. It
Yeah.
goes by. If you blink, it's gone.
I'll post a video of my last catch with my dwarf, and I had to go back through and just look, and I saw it. And I was, I have some cool stories of the first time I caught it going across the moon. I was sitting in my car at Two Rivers Park as my old Pathfinder, and it was so windy that it would knock my Nikon and my 600 millimeter lens over. And so I literally had the tripod next to me pointing out the sunroof so I could get it. And it just all of a sudden clouds up, and I'm looking at my watch and I'm just like, it's gonna, and the time went past as I was recording. And when it was, like a minute or two past when it was supposed to go, closed the sunroof, started the car up and pulled my phone out. And it was like this act of God. Clouds, 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 dark, 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 little bit of moon, full moon, zip, everything covered back up. And I was like, oh, I got it. I was super excited. Yeah. Takes a little bit of luck to do it. I should post that video too. All right. Past events and outreach. As Randy said, they've been doing a lot of good work at Cedars, Lebanon, Henry Horton State Parks. If you're interested in those, he posts a lot of those times up on the Google Groups. On the 26th, we also had a private star party set up to be out on the HS Trace. I don't know if anybody made it to that one. We also had NanoCon going. I was out of town for those in Colorado. It's horrible. I wish, no. Yeah, I didn't mind going to Colorado. I had pretty good skies out there. Steve, how well was the NanoCon attended?
I mean, the event itself was huge. We had about 350 people at the event. The star party, we had maybe 40 people come out, something like that. But it was a nice location. It was Montgomery Bell, but different from the ballpark over at the parking area, what they call the swim parking area next to the lodge. Very, very dark, good spot. And Natalie and Javier and Chuck came out, and we had a good time and good blue skies.
Yep, good deal. Our last public star party out at Edwin Warner got clouded out, as seemed to be a theme. Upcoming events on Saturday. Chuck has something out at Montgomery Bell. He'll do solar starting at about 6:30. And then after sunset, he'll do dark. As Randy said, Cedars on Friday or Henry Horton?
Henry Horton on Friday, Cedars on Saturday.
So if you're interested in that, again, there's information on that on Google Groups. Also, night of a private star party if you're interested in driving down the trace. If you are interested in driving down the trace, this is our darkest site we officially have access to out there at Water Valley. It's about an hour down the trace if you're driving that way. With that set up, and you're free to stay out there all night. So dark to dusk if you really want to. But do make sure you have a permit on you. It doesn't have to be paper. You can have it on your phone, but just make sure you have access to it. And then the next public star party is August 30th out at Bell's Bend. Sunset's 7:17, and so it'll be a little bit dark by the time we start. So if you can get out and set up early while there's still a little bit of light, it should do pretty well. All right, our next member meeting is the 17th at 7 p.m. as I mentioned. Our guest will be Scott Harrington. He'll be talking to us over Zoom, and he's giving a presentation on observing with binoculars, which kind of jumps into with what Amelia mentioned, right? And learning the sky and stuff like that. If you've never sky hopped with binoculars, it's amazing because as I'm sky hopping, I'm getting distracted because I see squirrels all the time, like, ooh, that's awesome. And I just forget what I'm doing, but like, oh, there's a cool cluster here. And then I forget where I'm at and what I was looking for. But binocular observing is kind of his passion. Tony got us in touch with him, and so he'll be giving us that talk. We'll be here in person at Dyer, streaming on Zoom and YouTube in theory, as long as weather and everything cooperates. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Scott's really good. I've heard him a couple times at Alpine meetings. And then relative to binoculars in particular, I guess this was October a year and a half ago in the fall. I'm out at the Green River Overlook in Canyon, in the northern part of the park. Setting up, and a lady comes by wanting to know what I'm doing, and I tell her, oh, I gotta go tell my husband. So they're in their 70s. He's been observing for 60, 70 years, and never with anything of his own but binoculars. And he could pretty much rattle off every constellation, every Messier object that was in the sky that October night. Some of the best tutoring I've had in the last year and a half. He was a marvelous teacher, and then he was delighted to have a scope to look through to, versus binoculars, but everything.
Yeah.
Working with binoculars is a great thing, and Scott is great.
It's amazing what you can see with just a set of 10 by 50s. I have a set of I can't remember. I think it's
something
6 by 25. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll bring a couple sets of binoculars next time I've got a few, just so you guys can see them, and I'm sure he'll talk about them, and so you can see how big the yeah. So that'll be next week. All right, or next month. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. That's kind of the end of club business I have. Does anybody have any other? Yeah, Steve.
Couple things.
Yeah.
So first of all, welcome. I know we got a couple of new people, so welcome to any visitors that are here. Glad you're here. And the way it goes, we'll end the meeting. We'll usually have a little, just kind of socializing a little bit. But we will open upstairs the dome so that they're able to come up and see the scope. I don't think the sky's going to cooperate, but if you guys want to come up and see the scope,
Who's here for the first time?
who's here for the first? Was that who's here for the first time ever?
Would you like? Okay, you guys can fight over this. It's got pretty pictures.
Is that your own photo?
No. I get these, so I get these things that being a solar system ambassador, you sometimes get stuff that's not in the country of JPL.
Is that the only one you have? Just one?
Sadly,
Yeah.
but I'll bring other stuff.
I'll take it. Nobody else wants it.
You want it?
Okay, so, and then one more thing I want to mention too is some of you guys may know that I used to work for the Student Planetarium. And I worked there for about a little less than 2 years. I had to give that up for logistic reasons. Our current BSAS alumni, I believe, is Theo. How long were you there, Theo?
11 and a half years.
11 and a half years at the Student Planetarium. Yeah.
If you look at the night sky, you do a sky show every
Yeah.
stinking day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The nice thing, and I do recommend it, it's a lot of planetariums have gone completely digital. The only way you can make a star brighter in the digital world is to make it fat. So digital Sirius, even on our dome, it's like this big. Okay. But the stars in the dome here are optically done.
So it's actually star ball. Yeah.
And they are
Beautiful.
stupid pretty.
Yeah.
And Chris took enormous pains to make it the most faithful replication of the sky. So if it's easy to see in the sky, you can find it in there. If it's hard to see in the sky, it's a little bit tough. If you can see it with binoculars, you can take binoculars in there and start to see Messier objects that you can't pick up with your eye. It's unbelievably fun.
Can I see the alien nebula?
What I do in the sky is I would go in there and sit, and then I would plan my star hop in the dome, because I could put the pointer, I could say, put the circle on that thing. Now I'm gonna thought how I'm gonna get there. But it really is beautiful and it really is fun. And the ability to combine the digital with the very good visual sky also is a ton of fun. The day that they flew by Pluto, I mean, we've been running a show called 9 Planets and Counting, for which I can claim the closing line. That's what I did, is I wrote closing lines. And it was set up to explore the debate, right? So we ran that show, and while we're doing the show, they're having the press conference with the first pictures. And Drew is downloading the pictures while I'm listening to it so I can send intelligent. And after the show, we told the audience, hey, the first pictures are in. You want to see them? Of course they did. And boom, we could do it. So the technology is fun, but we have a stupidly brick visual sky. So
Yeah.
Well, I brought that up. I mean, thanks for that. So I brought that up because I had to step down because of logistic reasons. But the BSAS tradition continues. Our own Natalie Preston is now taking my position at the planetarium.
That's out of this world.
You got plenty of support here. So.
That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, he does.
So now we get to poke you whenever we're interested in mess with stuff up. Cool. Any other business before we sign off for today? Real quick before I let you go. This is that universe sampler book that you get through the astronomical league. It took maybe a week to get here. I don't know if they print them and send them, or if they have a stash and they just have to put them in an envelope. But if you want to come up and look at this, feel free to. I also picked up this Exploring the Starry Realm book. I think it was 12 or something like that, but it's, basically here's cool stuff in the sky, here's how to find it, and kind of an extension of that. So feel free to come up and peruse. And if you're interested in doing the universe sampler, feel free to hop on and on Google Groups and say, hey, you guys want to do this, and we'll see if we can get groups together to observe. All right. Yeah.
Can't guarantee anything at this point, but as of a day or two ago, Scott Legg was going to come down to Henry Wharton Friday night with his 18-inch dog, and I sent him a text. Without looking at my phone, I don't think I've heard back from him yet. But given the earlier post today, I already looked up. It's a moderately easy star hop to get to the Cat's Eye Nebula, and it'll be a dim fuzzy in my 6-inch, but on his 18-inch mirror,
Reach out and touch it.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool. If you need an extra motivation piece to come down there and join us, there you go.
Well, good deal. All right.
It'll be an invisible part of the sky from where we live.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Hope to catch you at a star party and see you next month. All right, take care, guys.
Hi, y'all.
Bye, Chuck. Hey, Chuck. I still have a whole bunch of I grabbed the solar stuff today, and of course you didn't show up. Do you know if anybody else is coming to Montgomery Bell?
I don't yet.
And
to be honest, weather is looking really poor for Saturday night.
How close do you live to Montgomery Bell?
4 miles.
Gotcha. I live over by Loveless. I could take the box of solar goodies and swag home, and I could just meet you somewhere around there if you wanted to pick it up.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Maybe Friday or something, or Saturday that morning or something.
Let's see, what am I doing Friday? Not got a class Friday. Weiss, and Saturday we're doing farmers market. Sorry.
Gotcha. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll get you this stuff later.
Yeah, that'd be fine. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, take care, Chuck.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right, Zoomies, I'm about ready to shut us down. So it's good seeing everybody.